Your friends and family can see clearly the pattern that shapes your behavior, the weakness that echoes through everything you do, yet you remain blind to the very thing draining your energy and keeping you asleep. Today, we're looking at 7 of these energy drainers from Gurdjieff's psychological perspective. So, calm yourself for a while and listen with complete presence. And if these ideas make you think for a while, consider subscribing to this channel for more reflective audiobooks. The person dominated by vanity lives in constant need of admiration, terrified of appearing ordinary. Watch such a person in conversation. They cannot resist expressing opinions on every subject, needing others to recognize their authority, their special knowledge, their superior understanding. The energy that pours into maintaining this image of specialness could build consciousness. Instead, it feeds an endless hunger that can never be satisfied. Vanity is particularly insidious because it can disguise itself as spiritual aspiration. The person thinks they are working on themselves, attending groups, studying ideas, yet all their activity serves only to confirm their self-image as someone special, someone advanced, someone more evolved than ordinary humanity. They have simply transferred their vanity from worldly concerns to spiritual ones, and the theft of energy continues unchanged. I see this constantly in students who come to my teaching. They arrive believing themselves ready for advanced work, convinced they understand things others do not, imagining themselves nearly enlightened already. When I give them simple tasks, cleaning vegetables, carrying wood, observing their mechanical reactions, they feel insulted, believing such activities are beneath their spiritual station. This very reaction reveals their chief feature, operating, draining energy into the defense of their imagined superiority. Another form of energy theft operates through a chronic feeling of being mistreated, misunderstood, and burdened by difficulties others do not face. The person with self-pity as the chief feature believes life has been uniquely unfair to them. They collect injustices like precious objects, returning to them repeatedly, drawing bitter satisfaction from their catalog of suffering. This pattern creates a peculiar prison. The person becomes identified with their suffering, using it to define themselves, to explain their failures, to justify their lack of effort. If only my circumstances were different, they tell themselves. If only I had the advantages others enjoy, then I could do the work required for development. Meanwhile, the actual present moment, where all real work must occur, passes unnoticed, its energy consumed by dwelling on past injuries and imagined slights. I had a student once who came from considerable wealth, yet spent every group meeting explaining how difficult her life had been, how much she had suffered, how others could not understand her unique challenges. When I suggested she observe this pattern in herself, she responded with outrage, providing elaborate justification for why her self-pity was actually an accurate perception of reality. This is how the chief feature protects itself, through the person's absolute conviction that their mechanical reaction is conscious understanding. Fear as the chief feature is different from natural, appropriate caution in dangerous situations. This is a psychological pattern where the person anticipates disaster in every situation, hesitates before every action, and imagines catastrophe lurking in each new possibility. The energy required for conscious effort drains away into endless calculation of potential dangers, into mental rehearsal of worst outcomes, into paralysis disguised as prudence. Such a person rarely attempts anything new because their imagination, dominated by this feature, shows them only what might go wrong. They avoid confronting the truth about themselves because self-knowledge seems dangerous. They remain in situations that damage them because change carries unknown risks. All the while, they believe themselves sensible, careful, realistic, never recognizing that their caution is actually prison bars they have constructed through surrendering energy to mechanical fear. The tragedy is that the energy consumed by this fearful anticipation could be used to meet actual situations with presence and intelligence. Instead, the person exhausts themselves imagining problems that may never occur, arriving at real challenges already depleted, unable to respond with the attention and force necessary for conscious action. Do not confuse sentimentality with genuine feeling. Sentimentality is a mechanical emotional reaction that drowns the person in romantic fantasies about the past, present, or future while preventing actual contact with reality as it is. The person with this chief feature lives in a fog of pleasant emotions that require nothing from them. No effort, no sacrifice, no actual transformation. I see this particularly in students who speak eloquently about love, about beauty, about spiritual awakening, yet demonstrate in their behavior no change whatsoever in how they treat people around them. Their sentimentality allows them to feel they are advancing while remaining completely mechanical in all their relationships and responses. They mistake emotional intoxication for consciousness, pleasant feelings for actual development. The energy that pours into this sentimental dreaming could instead be used for the difficult work of seeing oneself as one actually is, seeing the mechanical cruelty, the habitual selfishness, the constant consideration only of one's own comfort and advantage. Sentimentality protects against this uncomfortable seeing, maintaining a pleasant emotional atmosphere that prevents any real observation of what one has become through years of mechanical living. The person dominated by inner laziness as a chief feature may be quite active in external life, accomplishing many things, appearing productive and energetic. The laziness I speak of is avoidance of inner effort, resistance to anything that requires genuine attention or sustained presence. This person wants development delivered to them comfortably, without struggle, without the continuous exertion that consciousness actually demands. Such a person may attend groups, read books, discuss ideas with great enthusiasm. Yet when it comes to the moment-by-moment effort of self-observation, of maintaining divided attention, of conscious suffering, they always find reasons why now is not the convenient time. Tomorrow they will begin serious work. Next week, conditions will be better for practice. After this busy period ends, they will devote themselves to the effort required. The energy meant for actual work drains into these justifications and postponements. I tell these students directly, there will never be a convenient time. Life will always provide you with reasons to avoid effort, with urgent concerns that seem to require all your attention, with comfortable illusions that allow you to believe you are preparing for work while actually doing nothing. Your chief feature of inner laziness uses all of these to maintain its control, stealing energy you need for consciousness and diverting it into mechanical activity that produces no transformation. Cowardice as a chief feature manifests as the inability to face the consequences of one's actions, refusal to confront the truth about oneself, and habitual avoidance of anything that might expose one's actual level of being. This person agrees to commitments they do not keep, makes promises they have no intention of fulfilling, and speaks noble sentiments while behaving in ways that contradict everything they claim to value. When confronted with the results of their behavior, they become skillful at deflection, blaming circumstances, pointing to others' faults, creating elaborate explanations that allow them to avoid looking at what they have actually done. The energy required for this constant evasion is tremendous. If applied to genuine self-observation and admission of truth, it could produce real development. Instead, it maintains a complex system of self-deception that prevents any possibility of change. I remember one student who repeatedly promised to undertake certain exercises, agreed to conditions for remaining in the group, and made solemn commitments to change specific behaviors. Yet each promise was broken, each commitment abandoned, each agreement violated. When I finally confronted him with this pattern, he immediately began explaining why each failure had been caused by external circumstances beyond his control, why I was being unfair in my assessment, and why others in the group had worse problems that went unaddressed. His energy poured entirely into avoiding the simple truth that he was demonstrating cowardice, inability to face himself as he actually was. This is perhaps the most comprehensive form of energy theft because it encompasses all the others. False personality is the entire structure of imaginary qualities and characteristics you have built around yourself, the elaborate fiction of who you believe yourself to be that has no basis in your actual being. Every action, every word, every gesture serves to maintain this constructed identity, draining energy that could otherwise be available for consciousness. You imagine yourself spiritual while behaving mechanically. You believe yourself intelligent while thinking in nothing but cliches and borrowed opinions. You consider yourself kind while treating people with careless cruelty through simple lack of attention. You think yourself unique and individual while following programmed patterns, indistinguishable from millions of other mechanical people. The gulf between who you imagine yourself to be and what you actually demonstrate in behavior represents the territory where all your energy disappears. The work of distinguishing false personality from essence, from what you actually are beneath all the constructed identity, requires sustained effort of a kind most people never contemplate. It means watching yourself continuously to see the gap between what you claim about yourself and what you actually do. It means admitting that almost everything you call I is borrowed, invented, or mechanical. This admission is so difficult that most people prefer to spend their entire lives maintaining the illusion, feeding it with all available energy, rather than facing the uncomfortable truth of their actual condition. How do you discover which form your chief feature takes? The answer is both simple and extraordinarily difficult. You must observe yourself without mercy, particularly in situations that trigger strong reactions. Where do you become most defensive? What criticisms do you refuse to consider? What patterns repeat themselves in your relationships despite your conscious desire for them to change? What lies do you tell yourself to maintain comfortable illusions about your level of development? The difficulty is that you cannot see your own chief feature clearly because your entire psychological structure has been organized to keep it hidden from view. It is the one thing you will defend absolutely, the weakness you refuse to acknowledge, even when it becomes obvious to everyone around you. This is why working in groups is essential. Others can often see your chief feature with clarity that you can never achieve alone. When someone names your chief feature accurately, your immediate reaction of disagreement or rationalization confirms that they have touched the central point. I have observed that whenever anyone disagrees with my identification of their chief feature, their very disagreement demonstrates that I am correct. If the identification were wrong, they could consider it calmly, examine it with detachment, and dismiss it without emotional reaction. The fury of their defense, the elaborate justifications they produce, the hurt feelings and accusations of unfairness, all of this confirms that I have found the axle around which their false personality revolves. Understanding the chief feature theoretically accomplishes nothing. You must work with it practically, observing its operation in real situations, watching how it drains your energy, seeing clearly how it sabotages your efforts at development. This observation must be precise, factual, without the imagination or self-pity that would turn the observation itself into another expression of the chief feature. The goal is neither to fight your chief feature directly, nor to eliminate it through force of will. Such approaches only feed it with attention, giving it more energy to operate. The aim is to bring it into consciousness, to see it operating moment by moment, to understand the specific ways it drains your energy and prevents genuine presence. As seeing deepens, the feature gradually loosens its control, not because you have destroyed it, but because conscious attention withdraws the energy it needs to maintain its dominance. This is difficult work, requiring persistence over years, requiring the courage to see things about yourself you would prefer to deny, requiring the humility to accept that your current level of being is far below what you imagine. Yet it is the only work that matters. All spiritual aspirations, all desires for higher consciousness, all dreams of development remain mere fantasy until you address the specific mechanism through which your energy disappears into mechanical patterns controlled by your chief feature. The choice before you is stark. Continue feeding energy to the central weakness that keeps you asleep, maintaining comfortable illusions about who you are, or begin the uncomfortable work of seeing this thief clearly and withdrawing the energy that sustains it, creating space for something real to grow where mechanical reactions once dominated.